And welcome to episode 37 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah and I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half Jimmy and our yellow Labrador Jonah, who you might be able to hear. He's panting quite a lot just lying here next to me because it's quite warm today and he's been running around outside. But he's now quite tired, so hopefully he'll stay lying down for most of the podcast at least. So, it's been a little while since I've spoken to you, or through the medium of the internet, and life just got a bit in the way. It just got a bit busy, I guess, as a lot of people's lives do in the summer. We just had a lot on, and I sort of focused on getting my designs out, and the podcast sort of got put on the back burner a bit because that's sort of slightly lower in the priority list than doing the designs for me. So I'm really sorry about that. Thank you so much if you're a returning viewer and you're coming back after this mini hiatus, and thank you so much if you are a new viewer for checking the podcast out. I really hope you enjoy it, and hope you come back for more. Social media wise, I am Yarnia Designs on Instagram and Ravelry, and my knitting patterns are also available on Ravelry under Yarnia Designs. But I'll put all the links down below for all of that and everything else that I talk about in the podcast too. So, I've not got a hot drink today because it is really warm. We're having a little bit of a heat wave this weekend. I don't know when this will go live. I don't think I'll be able to put it live on the same day I'm recording, but I'm recording on Saturday the 24th? 24th of August. Saturday 24th of August is today. And normally I put the podcast out on the same day as recording, but I'm working night shifts tonight, so I don't think I'm going to have time to do it before I have to go to work. So, because I had a bit of a lie-in this morning, but you don't really need to know all of that. But hopefully by Monday it'll be out. So, got quite a few things to cover because it's been quite a while since I filmed, so better crack on. Okay, the first thing I wanted to talk about is really exciting. I decided, me and my friend Kate were talking about knitting some autumnal socks because we both bought some nomadic yarns a few months back. I did show those on the podcast, and some of the colours I bought and that Kate bought were quite autumnal, so we were thinking it would be really fun to have a knit along celebrating autumn. So I'm going to call it the Season of Socks KAL, because it's not just going to be a knit along for autumn. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it will be, but if you're in the southern hemisphere, it'll be for socks related to spring, because I didn't want to leave out half of the world. So I know a few people who watch are in New Zealand and Australia, and possibly even South America as well. And I mean, I don't know everyone that watches this, but I know definitely there are people in those places. And for them, it will be coming up to spring soon. So I didn't want to leave anyone out. So we're having a knit along to knit socks celebrating the changing seasons. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, like I am, you will need to knit socks which are in some way related to autumn. So that can be the pattern, or if you wanted to do a non-patterned sock or just vanilla sock, then it can be to do with the yarn. The yarn colours could remind you of autumn, or just anything that you can think of that links your socks to autumn, then that's absolutely fine. And then if you're in the southern hemisphere, then anything that links your socks to spring. So it could be the pattern or the yarn again. And as long as you can say like how it is linked to that season when you post either on Instagram or in the finished objects thread, which will be in the Ravelry group, then that's absolutely fine. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to make it so that you can enter both within the Ravelry group, where there'll be a finished objects thread, and I think the Ravelry group is just called, I always forget what I called it, it's either called Tales of Yarnia or Yarnia Designs. But I'll put a link to it in the notes just down below, because I should really know what my own group is called on Ravelry. But oh well. So it'll be in there, but you can also enter on Instagram, and the hashtag that I'm going to use for the knit along does not want to focus on me today. The hashtag I'm going to use will be the season of Socks KAL, and I'll put that just along the bottom here so that you can see that. And the KAL is going to run until the end of November, and there will be a couple of prizes, so I'm in the process of organising that. I've got something already I can use, and then I've had someone reach out and say they can donate a prize, which is really nice. And yeah, so I hope you're up for that and you're excited about autumn or spring. And yeah, because I just can't wait now. I always get to this point in the year when it gets to August, I'm just like, I really want it to be September, and I want everything to start getting cooler, and because I just love the colours of autumn as well. And I think my mum's the same. We just really like autumn. So yeah, I really can't wait for that. So I thought it'd be really fun just to have a knit along celebrating the start of that season. So yeah, let me know if you're interested down below. I hope lots of people get involved. It should be really, really fun. Right, so I think that was everything about that. I'll put the full set of rules in the Ravelry thread once I've started that, but I just thought I'd give you a bit of a heads up so that you can get yarns and patterns and projects ready. So that'll be starting on the 1st of September, which is not very far off now. Not far off at all. I haven't decided which skein of yarn I'm going to cast on yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the Nomadic Yarns skeins that I got. So I'm going to be doing self-striping socks. Exciting. Anyway, next up, I've got a couple of pattern releases to talk about. So I think I did wear this last time on the podcast, and this is my first ever garment design, and it's the bramble tee. I'll just stand up so you can get a full look at the top. But this is the bramble tee. I think there was someone who suggested that name, and I said I would gift a copy of the pattern to whoever picked a name that I actually used. And I'm not sure what your Ravelry username is, so if that was you, can you get in contact with me either on Instagram or on Ravelry, and I will make sure you get a free copy of the pattern. So yes, it's knit from the bottom up, and you have this lace design just along the bottom. It's got dropped shoulder and twisted rib around the neckline. It's just quite a relaxed fit t-shirt. It's just easy to layer up. I wear knitted tees all year round. I can wear them just on their own when it's slightly warmer, or in the winter, sort of the colder months, I'll layer them up and wear these underneath and maybe a vest top underneath it, and then layer it over with cardigans and things like that. So I do get use out of them all year round. Oh, and the bit I really love about this is the little lace bit I did on the edge of the sleeve. And this actually makes the sleeve really stretchy. It's not really, it's quite a flexible, loose fitting sleeve. I mean, it stays fitted and then just sort of it flares out a tiny bit at the end. And I managed to do that with the blocking. So yeah, if you have knitted this, when you block it, if you want to accentuate the little points in the lace, then that can make it sort of flare out a little bit. But you don't have to at all, it can lie flat. So yeah, I'll just sit down because you have seen this now. I have created 10 different sizes for this pattern. And I just wanted to be as inclusive as possible with the sizing. And I think the largest size, it goes up to approximately 65-inch bust. The finished circumference for the largest size of the t-shirt is, I think, almost 69 inches. I've written the pattern to have approximately 3 to 6 inches of positive ease, so theoretically this could go up to, I think the largest size would accommodate a person with a 65-inch or 66, almost 66-inch bust. I hope that makes sense. So I've tried to be as inclusive as possible. If there is anyone who would like me to grade any others, like a larger size or a smaller size than I have done, I would be happy to do that. So I just didn't know if there was if anyone wanted that. So I've tried to be as inclusive as possible. If anyone does want me to do any other sizes which are not included in the pattern, just send me a message and I will try and accommodate that and work on that for you. Okay, so that's the first pattern that has now been released. The other pattern which I've released is the mermaid tail socks. And here they are. I think I might have finished one. Had I finished one when I podcasted last? I can't remember what I was knitting then. But yeah, here we go. So I have actually worn these since, because we had a bit of a cold spell in the middle of, well, not like cold, but it was cool enough to wear hand knit socks in the evening. So I have actually worn them because I was really excited about them. And then I realised I hadn't actually shown them on the podcast yet, so probably shouldn't have worn them, but so sorry if they've got a little bit of dog hair. So yeah, these socks are knit cuff down. I've only done cuff down just because of the way the lace pattern works up, and I wanted it to point downwards. So if I just switch that around, you might be able to see what it looks like on the front. So I sort of thought it reminded me of like scales, as in fish scales. I just thought, with the sparkle of this yarn, I just thought it just seemed so magical, so I thought mermaid tail. And I thought the back of the sock, the texture that I've done here, just sort of looked like ripples in water. It just reminded me of the seaside, which is very fitting, as the yarn I used for these was, the colourway was called St Ives, which is a place in Cornwall here in the UK, and the dyer is Ironbridge Yarns. And lovely Felicity reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in collaborating for a pattern and if she could provide some yarn support. So I was so grateful for that. Thank you so much, Felicity. It's absolutely stunning yarn as well. I absolutely love it. I'll definitely need to check out some more of her colourways in the future. I just love how sparkly it is as well. It just completely reminds me of the seaside. So, sorry, the light is a bit funny today. It's super sunny outside. There's not a cloud in the sky, so things might get a little bit blown out, or just the light might be a bit dodgy. Yeah, so yeah, really pleased with these. I think I did 3 different sizes. As usual, it's got a heel flap and gusset, and I think they call it just a wedge toe. It's just the stand, like a normal toe. So yeah, really pleased with these. I love how they worked up. They just have a bit of a magical feel to them. So yeah, so that's the mermaid tail sock pattern. That's also live on Ravelry now. So yeah, that's that. I think, oh, I forgot to say, the yarn I used for the bramble tee is Travel Knitter, and it was in the Brambleberry colourway. And I forgot to say, it is a fingering weight t-shirt. Probably information you want to know. So there you go. So I have one more FO. I guess like the mermaid tail socks were also an FO. I don't think I finished those the last time. So I have got one other FO, and it's a pretty big one. It's a big shawl design. Sorry, everything I'm showing I think is designs. Oh, there's one whip I've forgotten to bring down with me. I'll have to get that in a minute. Right, anyway. This is, oh my gosh, it's not going to fit on the screen. I'm going to have to go back. This I have decided to call the Astronomer Shawl. And this is, I've aimed for it to be a half pie shawl. It pretty much is. This is the first time I've knit a shawl this shape. But I really, really love how it's turned out. I used, this was a collaboration with the Yarn Lab UK, and the lovely Lana gave me one of her shawl sets, and this is a 3 skein shawl set, which this used. It is called Midnight at the Observatory, and the shawl uses 3 colours. I used 2 full skeins, and only 50 grams of the 3rd skein. The one that I only used 50 grams of was the lightest colour, which is called Aura. I believe the other 2 colours are called the Movement of Planets. I think that was the sort of grey with speckles of pinks and purples and a little bit of orange as well. And then the 3rd colour was called, oh, I forgot what it's called. Was it the Studying of Stars? Yeah, Studying of Stars is the purple colour. So this shawl is currently in testing, and it uses quite a few different techniques. I wanted something that you wouldn't stay doing the same thing for too long. So I wanted something that would keep my mind engaged, and I'd always be looking forward to doing the next bit and the next bit. So I thought I'd create something that's quite addictive. So I've got a bit of mosaic knitting that you can just see at the top there. Then we've got some bit of brioche and also some lace. So I mean, this, if you haven't done brioche before, this will be probably the ideal first brioche project, because there are absolutely no increases or decreases in the brioche. It's just very basic brioche. It couldn't be simpler. So if you're used to doing quite a few other techniques, and you're used to doing like simple lace, I would recommend this as a first brioche project. Also because the brioche sections are quite small as well, so it wouldn't be too overwhelming if you just wanted to dip your toe into the brioche world. So yeah, it is a huge shawl as well. This is how big it is. So yeah, I love it. I'm really, really pleased with it. So yeah, I'll just show you. It's like the perfect shawl just for draping around like this. You see, it's yeah. So this is going to be great for keeping them warm. It's a fingering weight shawl, I forgot to say that. So it's quite light and airy, but because of its size, you can really wrap it around and keep you nice and cozy. So this, I'm aiming for the pattern to be out in September. And I called it the astronomer shawl because I wanted something that fitted in with the Harry Potter theme of the colourways from the Yarn Lab, and also something that fitted in with the idea of planets and stars. And because the yarn set was called Midnight at the Observatory, I wanted it to fit in with the whole astronomy theme. So I thought, the astronomer shawl. I looked on Ravelry and that hasn't been taken, so I'm going with that. My lovely friend Sophie from work helped me think of that as well. So thank you, Sophie. She occasionally watches the podcast. I don't know why, but if you've got this far, then thank you. Right, so I'll just put this away. Fold it up nicely. I still need to take the pattern photos for that. Right, so that's the only FO. I've got 3 whips to show you. Oh. Okay, so the first whip, show you the bag that it's living in. It's living in this lovely, cute drawstring bag from Thimble and Thread. And it's got these cute little boxes and toadstools. Ooh, sorry, that's quite close. And it's just a really light, easy to use drawstring bag. Little handle. Just really easy to throw into my work bag to take my knitting to work. So I'm using a little mini skein set from Pixie Yarns. This is the set that I got from Flock when she was vending at Flock in, would that have been June? I think it was June, yeah. I think that's right. Time is just all over the place in my head. Right, so I've forgotten what the mini skein set was called. And I've left the thing upstairs. Sorry, Sophie. But I really, really love this mini skein set. It's 10 gram minis, so I thought that would be perfect for shorty socks. And it's a little fade set as well. So I'll show you the one which I've got furthest on. I am knitting them concurrently. Oh, where is this yarn going? Just so that I can see how far each section of yarn goes. So I had each 10 gram mini I've split into 5 gram little balls. I split it as evenly as possible, but I'm knitting them concurrently just because my scales are only accurate to the gram. They don't go into decimals, so I can't tell exactly how equally split they were. But this is how far I've got. I hope that's showing up all right. So they're a pretty simple pattern. I've got this little slip stitch section, this where it's not really fading them into one another, but it's just sort of like a gradual change over to another colour. I don't really want to call it a fade because it's not, it doesn't blend. You don't blend the colours. But I do like how it's just sort of like a little wavy pattern with the slip stitches, leading from one colour to the next. And then on the bottom of the foot, it is just plain knitting, just because I thought it might feel weird having a texture on the bottom of your foot when you're standing on the sock. And then each colour section has got just a really simple texture pattern. And you can see I'm onto the 4th colour now. Let me just get the final colour out to show you. Ooh. This is the final colour, which will be up here on the cuff. So I'm part way through the heel flap on these. Oops. And these are going to be finished pretty soon. I'm hoping to write up the pattern possibly next week, and then they'll be ready for testing. So I will probably do, I think, 3 sizes for these. I don't know if I'll do toe up and cuff down. I'll have to figure out and see how easy it would be to work the instructions I've done the other way around. It might be possible. I'll try and do it if I can. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how they're working up. It's just really, really gorgeous yarn. I mean, look at the speckles. Sophie is just amazing with the speckles she does in her yarn. Just so gorgeous. Yes, then I got this, my little avocado progress keeper on here, which is from Hannah off the Corner of Craft. I got this when I went to Yarningham. Yeah, that's where I went. I love it. Yeah, I've got a couple of names for a couple of ideas for the names for this design. I'm thinking of maybe calling them the cinnamon apple socks. Just because the colours are kind of leading into autumn, and just thought the colours reminded me of apples. Yeah, I might call them the cinnamon apple socks. Just because the speckles are sort of like all warm colours and just look a bit like cinnamon. Yeah, that's the first one. I'm knitting them concurrently, as I said, so I'm currently working on, I'm that far on that one. I'm really enjoying knitting these as well, just because I'm excited to get to the next colour and working concurrently. I've never knit socks concurrently before, but this is really working for me because I feel like I'm just sort of getting to the next section on one, then I've just got to do that bit on the other, and it's just sort of, you feel like you've just got to do the next bit, and they're quite addictive. It doesn't seem like you've got to knit a whole other sock again, and because they're shorties, I know I'm nearly done, so it's just really fun to do quite a quick project every now and again. Yeah, so you can sort of see how the slip stitches look. Oh, and this little progress keeper was from my friend Lizzie. I absolutely love it. It's a little, you call it, it's like a little mirror, like in Beauty and the Beast. Like a handheld mirror, and little gem. I really love that. Yeah, really enjoying these. I'll keep you posted on the pattern. So I have been a little bit rubbish at using the email list for announcing testing slots for the patterns recently. I've just found it so much easier to do it on Instagram. I'm finding it quite hard to juggle everything. So I work full time, and I'm also trying to grow my knitwear designing. I'm just struggling to do everything. It's just like quite a lot going on at once. But so I'm finding it just easier to make things simpler and just announce it on Instagram. So if you are interested in testing for me, I'd suggest probably turning on the notifications for my posts. You can do that on Instagram. I think if you are on the person's profile you want to get notifications for, I think if you click on the little, I think it's like 3 dots. Oh, I'll have a look now actually. Let's see. Okay, so I'll show you on Ocean by the Sea. So if you click on the following, where it says following, just over here. Ooh. Nope. Hang on, I'll just have to click it. So I clicked following, and then if you click on notifications, and then you can get notified on posts and stories. So if you just select the posts one, like that, you'll get notified whenever I post something. So that's handy if you want to keep an eye out for me announcing for test knitters. So yeah, that's the first whip that I've got on the go. The next one is living in my Eldon Woodcraft bag, and I've got all the autumnal knits on the go now. I'm frantically working to try and get a few patterns out for autumn before it turns to winter. So I really want to get this shawl out for autumn at some point. And it's living in this gorgeous bag from Eldon Woodcraft. Emma is so talented. This is one of my favourite project bags. I just love the trees. Right, anyway, living in here is a new shawl design. And the yarns I'm using are, this one is Beehive Yarns on her singles base. I can't remember what the name of the base is. Can't remember, but the colourway is Sandpiper, and it's this gorgeous sort of creamy neutral with these dark speckles. I'll show you how it knits up in a minute. Then the other, oh, I've got the label here, that might help. It's the Priscilla base, is her singles base. Yeah, and the colourway is Sandpiper. The other skein is, I can never pronounce this, no matter how many times people tell me how to pronounce it. Ushitita? I'm going to go with that. And this is the Havana colourway. I'll just show you it's on Merino Singles. I'll just show you the label because I'm terrible at pronouncing it. And yeah, it's the colourway Havana. And it's this gorgeous, rich, chocolatey brown with speckles of pinks and lighter sections and oranges. I really love it. So these two together, I thought would be quite a good contrast. They're in the same sort of colour wheelhouse. Excuse me. So, just try and show this. At least I'm not in the middle of a row. I haven't even checked where I am on my next whip, but oh well. So this is the shawl so far. I'm not too far yet. Just try and so it's got a little bit of garter. No, it's not garter. No garter, sorry. It's mostly a stockinette. The plain sections are stockinette. And then I've got little sections. Oh, sorry, it's going in my drink. Got little sections of mosaic knitting. I'm really getting into the mosaic knitting. It will look much neater and better once it is blocked. But it's sort of like a garter mosaic section. And it sort of creates this zigzag, you can see, which I really, really love. I just thought it'd be really fun to have just a textured shawl with no lace. Normally I do lace in shawls, but I thought for autumn, maybe just something with texture. And just show you this bit. And some bubbles. So, oh, sorry, that's the needles on my drink. So yeah, I've got some bubble sections here. Hopefully you can see those. I just love how these colours look together. And I really love how they're both knit up as well. But yeah, so we've got little sections with bobbles and sections of mosaic knitting, so I'm quite excited about that. And it's the same shape as my pear blossom shawl. I really, really enjoyed knitting and wearing that shape. So I thought I would knit another shawl in the same sort of asymmetrical triangle. And then I've got this little gold star progress keeper on there. I think that came in my dandelion and dogwood advent calendar last year. And I really thought that went with the colours of the yarn. So yeah. Right, I'll just pop that over there. Right. I have been knitting on another whip, which I didn't bring down to show you. But it's not changed very much. I think I've only added a couple of stripes. It's my Twisted Limone socks. I've only added maybe 2 stripes to that, so I didn't think it was really worth showing. But it's just a plain vanilla sock. I showed it on the last podcast, and hopefully I'll have made a bit more progress by the next one, so I'll show that next time. Because I've still got a bit to show you, and it might turn out a really long podcast otherwise. So the last whip I've got is living in my amazing bag from my lovely friend Hikari, and she has her shop called Hikari Handmade, and there is the tag there. I love the labels. This like cork. So pretty. So yes, living in here is a big sweater. Well, it's not big yet, but it will be. So this is just a perfect size bag for sweaters. So living in here, I have started another garment design, and it's going to be a colourwork sweater. So I'll just get out the colours of the yarn. I'm using Let's Lopi. So you can just get one of each colour. Okay. So I'm using 4 different colours of Let Lopi yarn, which is a DK Icelandic yarn. I really love how these colours look together. Right, so yeah, here's the label. It is quite a rustic yarn, but I've heard it softens up after you block it, or after being soaked and washed. So, but I don't think I have too much of a problem with rustic yarns anyway. So I'm quite lucky in that respect. Here is the yardage. They come in 50-gram balls. You get 109 yards or 100 meters per 50 grams. So it's a nice DK weight. And I've heard it's really good for colour work, and it does seem to be working up really well in the colour work I'm currently doing. So let me just get this out. Right, which is the back. Oh, okay, I've stopped at quite a reasonable point. So currently I'm working on the yoke of the sweater. It's going to be a top-down yoked sweater, knitting around, and this is where I'm up to so far. I can't really stretch it out or it's going to fall off the needles. Can't really stretch it out any more than this. Yeah, it's falling off the needles, but it's okay because it's of the yarn. It should stay. But yeah, so this is what I've got so far, and I'm really excited about this one. It's so addictive to knit through the colour work. I find that with all of the colour work sweaters that I've knit so far. And I've got my little dragon progress keeper on here, which is from Hannah of the Corner of Craft again. He's so cute. He just had to go on here. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about this. I was so proud of figuring out the short row shaping, because I've never designed a top-down sweater before. I've knit quite a lot of them, but I've never designed one. I've never designed anything that's colour work either, so it's quite a few firsts on here, but I feel really excited to, and I've got lots of ideas for garments now that I've sort of got my first garment designed and released and everything. I feel a lot more confident, and I feel like I've got lots of ideas I can actually make come to life now. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, so these will turn into leaves. You can probably see they sort of look a bit like leaves, but yeah, there is more to come on this, on the colourwork chart. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. It should be a really good pattern for autumn, hopefully. I think the colours, because it's DK weight, it should be a really good autumnal knit. But I just happen to be knitting it in August when it's 25 degrees Celsius outside. But yeah, that's what I've got to do to get the pattern out at the appropriate time of year. So here we go. So yeah, that's the colourwork sweater that I'm working on. This hasn't got a name yet. The shawl hasn't got a name yet, but yeah, those are the things that are keeping me busy. Just put these all back in here. Oh yeah, I've got this little party ring stitch marker. for my beginning of the round. I think it's getting a little bit blown out. There we go. Thought dragons and party rings. They definitely go together. There we go. Right. So that's the last whip that I've got to show you. I have put a few rows on, or a few rounds on my Spectre sweater, but again, I don't think I've really done enough to warrant showing it on the podcast, and I've had plenty to talk about, so that's it for the whips I'm going to show you. I've got one acquisition, well, two acquisitions, but it's from one place. And I was looking for some spinning oil somewhere that sold it online. So I found a website called Hilltop Cloud, and they sell spinning oil in this little pen, which is really useful. And they also sell loads of really cool fibre. So I thought, well, as I'm going to be paying postage just to get some spinning oil, I might as well add some fibre into my cart and make the most of paying the postage. So yeah, that's my logic. So yeah, it turns out they're actually really near to where I went on holiday in Wales as well. So that was quite cool. And I ordered 2 different braids of fibre, and I think they are completely different fibres as well. So I'll just get them out of the bag to show you. So the first one was a gradient that I've ordered, and it's so gorgeous and soft. And it is 50% Corriedale, 25% yak, and 25% rose. And so this is like completely new fibre for me. I don't think I've spun any of those. I don't think I've spun a Corriedale. No, I haven't. Not that I'm aware of. So I thought this would be fun, because I've not tried a gradient either. I thought this would be fun to try my first chain ply at some point, and then I can keep it in a complete gradient. So if anyone's got any tips on chain plying, I would love to hear them. Like anything you wish you'd known before you started trying to do a chain ply. Leave me a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. Oh, it's been quite nice. Yeah, doesn't work. Right, so here's the little label. That little logo, Hilltop Cloud. So yeah, I was really pleased to receive this. It smells really nice too. So that was the first one. The other one, which I picked up, because they had so many gorgeous ones, I just couldn't pick just one. And this one is a different blend of fibres, 3 completely different ones, and it's not a gradient. I just really, really loved this. I think I'm just drawn to the really autumnal colours at the moment. Love it. So yeah, I just got this one just because I couldn't resist. And this one is 50% Romney, 25% silk, and 25% linen. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how that works out, because I think I've spun some silk. I think there might be some silk in the Spin City bat that I'm currently spinning. I have made progress on that, by the way, I meant to say, but it's still on the wheel. I've got one bobbin that I finished, so I'm going to do it as a 2-ply because that's all I really know how to do at the moment. So I finished one bobbin and I'm halfway through the second bobbin. So I'm about 75% of the way through the fibre now. But I don't want to take it off the wheel. I did show you it last time, so yeah, so be really interesting to see how this works up. I've never spun Romney or linen. So, yeah, interesting. It smells really nice too. This one seems a bit fluffier than the other one. Like a bit more hairy. You can see. So yeah. So yeah, I think that was pretty much all I had to talk about. I've now got fibre in my mouth. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Hopefully it won't be as long until I speak to you again next. September I've got quite a few things planned, but I have also got some time off work, so hopefully I'll have some time to podcast then. And yeah, hope you all have a really lovely couple of knitty weeks till I speak to you again soon. And yeah,